So I'm going to do an eye this time. So I'm going to start with a concave line, like a hill, and a convex line. This is going to be the shape of the eye. And then in between those two lines sit the iris. And then inside there is the pupil. I'm just going to put a little square of light in the corner as it creates a sense of being alive. When I steampunk this one, I want to keep this line here, and I want to replicate it on the inside. And then I'm going to do letter C's the whole way between those two lines, which will create a spring. This one's going to be a bit more of an antique steampunk. And I'm going to do the same thing from the base. Widen that line ever so slightly. And same thing again, letter C's. And then here at the top, I'm going to put in a swirl. So I'm going to start with a point there. And I'm going to swirl around. Once, out, down, and around again. Almost like a sideways moustache. I'm going to fill this in. And this starts to become the antique part. I want to turn this into sort of like an old antique key. So I'm going to put a line in here behind the swirl. And I'm coming down to put in the teeth of the key. So it appears as though it's a key. Because it's an antique feel, I'm going to put almost like some pearls off this side, a large one and a smaller one. I'm going to lend this shape here by putting in a curve, and then I'm going to line it down to almost in line with the point of the eye. I'm going to follow that liner down as well. I'm going to put an extra line just for feature there. This bit here lends itself to a bit of a diamond shape, so I'm going to put a little diamond in there. There's not enough swirl here, but I'm going to come back to that bit, I think. So along the base here, I want to put in a feeling of bolts, because I want it to be like, with an antique feel, I want it to think like, rather than mechanical in a really harsh sense, more like the inside of a watch. I'm going to come a line here and I'm going to follow this along. And I think here it needs a feature that comes down. So I'm doing a line down. And then here I'm just going to put a line through the middle. I'm going to follow this line again and I'm going to come up to that point. And in this section here I'm going to put some screws. Little ones, the tiny ones you see in watches. Okay, so now I'm going to come back and address this space here. Something's not right with this space. So I'm going to put in an extra swirl. Just to soften it slightly. And the pearls, I'm just going to put a little bit of light on them. Okay, so I'm going to darken these lines here that make the iris and darken the pupil. Just soften that light line off a little bit. And here in the iris is where I'll put the colour, and the rest I think I'll leave black and white. Right, I'm going to go over it with fine point, see how it looks.